WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we played the summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and I learned that coach things back biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Right now.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook, Martin Houston Live, as well as YouTube at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. We're live and local and glad to have you as a part of the program. We'll keep things moving right here as we break down week 2, a weekend recap of Alabama football as they took on the Mercer Bears this past Saturday with a 48-14 win. How you feeling about your Alabama Crimson Tide team? Still feel like they're unbeatable? Got some things to work on? Did you see anything that concerns you? I want to talk with you about that today. So give us a call at 205-342-9904. The 44-13 win over Miami may or may not be as impressive as we thought, as Miami barely escaped with the win over Appalachian State, 25-23. So is it a pump the brake scenario for the Alabama Crimson Tide, or it's just what you expect when you play against a lesser opponent? Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. As we do each and every Monday during the football season, today we'll take your good, your bad, your ugly. We're also looking for players of the game. Who would you give that to if you have a player of the game? I'd like to hear from you. I am going to do a little pump the brake segment because it started as soon as the game was over. A little pump the brake segment all week long. We'll hear this, but I'm telling you, we need to pump the brakes on it, and that is about the dual threat quarterback and how that's how you beat Nick Saban. That is so old. But every national reporter works out there to make sure that they are the ones that are out there talking about, this is how you beat Alabama. This is how you beat Alabama. This is how you... That's old news. And I'm telling you, we need to get a new new term there. So let's go ahead and get things going, I want to invite you, as I said, to call in on the Taco Casa hotline, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. Let's go ahead and get to the phone lines. We got Mr. Curtis Lewis calling in. Mr. Lewis, you in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning, Vaughn. How are you this morning?
Doing fine, sir. What you got for us?
Good. Yeah, I don't have any new concerns about the team. So I got the same concerns I had at the beginning of the season, which has the offensive line as my biggest concern. Chris Owens is just a turnstile for defensive ends. That's all he is, a turnstile. They just tap him on the head on their way to the quarterback. They don't get him out of there, they're gonna get Bryce Young slapped, killed.
Yeah.
As sure as anything.
Yeah,
that's the thing that worries me the most.
It actually seemed worse Saturday than it did against Miami. And maybe as a 6-year player, you would hope that he would by now know not to go in underestimating. It's one thing to underestimate an entire team's ability to beat you, but you can watch film and see when there's a guy that's good enough that may be at a Mercer level, but it's good enough to beat you. And that guy, he wasn't a bad, the guy who was lining up on him a lot wasn't a bad player for any level. And there was several times where he did beat Chris and got to the quarterback, and there were several times he beat Chris and Bryce just made him miss.
Yeah. And it's not like the guy was Chase Young.
Right.
He's still playing for his division of football, but I don't blame Chris Owens. I really don't, because if you got a 3-legged dog, you put him in a damn playing greyhound race, whose fault is it the dog gets beat?
Oh wow.
Dog fault.
So I guess the question is, what do you think's going on there? Why I mean, you have to say that Saban's putting out there, you hope, the 5 that gives him the best chance to win. So I mean, why do you think he's out there if he's not the best guy right now, or why is he still with the deficiency you see in his game, in your opinion, why is he still out there? What do you think is holding him?
I know Saban knows to reward his players who's been there since Jesus created dirt, but I can only assume that the guy who is going to be in that position is just not ready. But it would seem to me that if you're not ready, and taking from one of Saban's thing, what he said when he put the 2 freshman linebackers in there a few years ago, he'd rather put them in there and let them make mistakes and learn than to have somebody else in there who's not going to be there later on. And it seems like that should have been held true for this tackle position. I mean, put Latham in there. If you don't think Latham's ready, let him learn out there. I mean, Bryce Young don't have to run any more than he's running now. But he's Latham to learn at that point. And I can only assume that's what it is, unless it's an injury we just don't know about.
Well, and then in the spring, Damian George was running with the first group. So I'm wondering what happened there. You know what I mean? Because he was running and he's one of the guys that they've mentioned, in the fight for that right tackle position. So you wonder, I mean, is it a mental thing? Because talent, I mean, physical wise, both of those guys, seem to be better from a physical standpoint than Owens, but he's the man, and you have to be a little bit concerned going into this Florida game with pressure off of that right. Fortunately, it's his face is coming into his face, and he sees it. But you have to be a little bit of concern going into that Florida game.
Yeah, definitely concerned, and I think that another one of the positions that kind of has me wondering also is Slade Bolden, and even Saban had said it during his post conference speech that Slade is a dependable guy. That's another word for Slade is slow. He could catch the ball on the punt. That's great. But once you catch it, you probably just sit down where you're at because you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, well,
so JoJo Earl gives you a chance to make something happen on that play. And maybe JoJo may not have the best hands at this point. That might be it.
no,
Give us a chance to score.
I think Slade Bolden. I mean, I think JoJo Earl will be the starter at punter against Florida. I mean, punt returner.
I think so.
I think that he, first of all, he showed pretty good ball security when he was back. And as Saban said, and recognizes that he's explosive when he catches it. And I think I projected that he would have the same trajectory into the lineup once Saban. When Saban starts talking about kids without anybody asking a question, it's just a matter of time before that guy, gets into the rotation. And he started talking about JoJo Earl and what he brought to the table, Curtis, before we ever even asked who JoJo Earl was. And I think that that's what you're going to see. I think he'll be the punt returner, and I think you'll also see him get more reps with the one. Slade's not playing bad. Slade's not a bad player.
Not bad at all.
And he will still get reps and still be in there. But I think you're going to slowly see him follow the same path as Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Waddle, broke in when there was 4 dogs. I mean, 3 dogs in front of him. I don't know if we have 3 dogs in front of JoJo Earl. So I think JoJo Earl may be that third. Back to we might have at least a 3-legged dog in the wide receiver game. I think that third leg is going to be JoJo Earl. So I would not be surprised by that in this game or moving down the road. Let me ask you another question. Is this the week? I know Tyson is probably the second team quarterback, but do we see a package with Jalen Milroe this week? Do they as part of it?
I wouldn't be surprised to see Milroe in there because he does give you that dynamic that you're not going to get from, even though Bryce can run the ball, but you don't want Bryce running that ball like that. But Milroe, he just seems kind of beastly when he gets that ball.
Yeah, Bryce has.
He's gonna.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just that Milroe just has that. It seems like he has that knack for just being able to put his head down and just make you go out there and either hurt yourself or he's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, well, with Bryce has escapability and can run and can hurt you, but you can call quarterback runs with Milroe. You like there's quarterback runs that that you set up and you have like roll out the pocket and it's a run pass option and the quarterback can run it if nobody's there. Or you can line up and call a power play or a counter play, and with Jalen Milroe, I will not be surprised if we don't run some power or counter action with him where we're lining up and running him just like he's running back and we get an extra blocker. I'll be surprised if we don't pull that out because they seem to have ran, even though they didn't call a lot of pass plays, they called a lot of different run plays with him. So I think they were just testing it out. So I could be wrong, but it'll be interesting to see. You got anything else for me?
You're right. Well, the other thing I had, I think Xavier flipped this in on us last week, but I didn't hear anything until last week when Saban said that Wheaton had an injury as to why he wasn't in the rotation. In the first game, he said, well, Wheaton had that injury. Like, nobody heard anybody injured about Wheaton up until that point after the game. Man.
Right.
Is that something else that's possibly going on with our backfield? Because B-Rob is a good back. He does a good job. He's solid. But B-Rob doesn't give you any pop either. Because there was a couple of times when B-Rob was – it looked like he should have been going down the sideline, and it was a 5-yard run.
He did.
What in the world are you looking at, B-Rob? There's a hole to your left.
He did better with making guys miss, but you're right. He still he is one of those guys, and some guys are like that. They may, if they get 10 carries, they will get more 5 to 7 yard runs than the other guy, but they may never. And I'm hoping to see it soon, but they may never give you like a 35-yard run. Another guy may get a 3-yard run, a 3-yard run, a 4-yard run, a 7-yard run, and then go 50. And that's what you're talking about with B-Rob. So he's the guy that I know Saban knows he's going to get consistency out of, play in and play out. And I think part of that he may be the man more so. What do they call it? BYOB, bring your own block. Maybe that's why B-Rob's in there a little bit more, Curtis, because of the blocking that we're getting sometimes from the O-line sometimes being inconsistent. Hey, I need to get the break here. If you got anything else, I'll let you hold on to the other side. But if not, I need to get the break. What you got?
No problem. No, that's all I had, boy. I appreciate you.
All right, call back and give me a score prediction. I know you got to think about this Florida game a little bit, but we're going to get score predictions for that this week as well. All right, let's get the break here. Robert, hold on to the other side. We'll bring you in. We're looking for good, bad, and ugly, players of the game, what your concerns are. We can talk about pumping the brakes. Everybody, I started during the game. As soon as it went to we're going to be playing Florida, first thing I heard was, well, Florida got 2 guys, dual threat guys, and that's how you beat Alabama. Is that narrative getting old? Well, we'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show. That conversation and more up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we kick off our Monday morning drive. Drive carefully. If you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. A time to save thousands at Townsend Nissan, your hometown dealer. They've got a tremendous selection with low finance rates and extra rebates. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa. Quality is number one. You got to start with a good quality product, but it's got to be at a good value to the customers.
Everything is about quality.
You just can't beat the quality, taste, and value.
And it's because we take pride in providing you with the best.
Good customer service and good food, good quality.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us. The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East, in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sky partially sunny today. The chance of a shower or storm this afternoon in a few spots. The high 86. For tonight and tomorrow, mostly cloudy. A few passing showers and thunderstorms are likely. Tonight's low 69. The high tomorrow at 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 72 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business.
You know, offensively, we got to play a lot of players. Obviously, the experience will, help them as well. But, all in all, it was a good win. You got to give a lot of credit to their team. It's kind of their team's dream to play in a game like this. So they're going to play out their dream. And they played hard and they played really good and they had a good plan. And their players, competed their tail off in the game. And I got to give their coach and their team a lot of credit for that. But we got to get ready and look forward to the things that we have to do to try to improve ourselves to be able to, play next week at Florida. It's an SEC game, and we'll kind of go from there. We had some guys out today, Joe didn't play. Jalen Armour-Davis didn't play. LeBron Ray still didn't play. Will Anderson went out checking out his knee. He's questionable as to what his circumstance will be here for the upcoming week.
That's Coach Nick Saban's opening comments post Mercer. They're playing their dream. They executed. They're a good team for their level, but Alabama has to get better. I had a coaching peer of mine, Coach Marchin, over at Northridge High School. Tell me why he feels that Saban plays these types of games, and very valid reason. We'll talk about that, but we got a caller that's been patient, so let's go to him first. Robert from Mobile. What's on your mind, sir? Welcome into the Martin Houston Show.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, now.
Hey, to switch gears to the NFL for a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
All three Alabama quarterbacks acquitted themselves well yesterday. Jalen, of course, had the best game of the bunch of the three. Of course, you can see by the worst team out of three, but he still had the best game.
Yeah.
Mac and Tua, that was both quarterbacks did really good for the team. They gave up both teams. They gave their team a chance to win. Unfortunately, New England lost because of Damian Harris's fumble, and So Harris did a pretty good game up until that point, but that fumble, I'm sure he wished he could get that one back. New England was knocking on the door for a chance to go ahead, and he lost the ball. But the only reason why they couldn't recover that is because Tua got Miami out of the shadow of their own end zone. So then they ran out the clock. So that was all Alabama quarterbacks did quite well. Speaking of switch gears to Green Bay for a second, Rodgers, you could have dropped Bryce Young, something from Alabama, and dropped them into to Green Bay for the Packers yesterday. And he was given the Packers a much better chance to win that game than Aaron Rodgers did. He was pathetic, and I think he was pathetic on purpose. God didn't like he cared one whit about winning or losing that game. And that was just off on his part. You signed a contract, you're on the team. You're supposed to at least give 50%. They're going to go from the MVP to this pathetic performance that you gave yesterday because you're mad with the team. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I did not get this because of church and football practice, and I spoke last night. I did not get a chance to watch the games. Caught a few highlights on the Aaron Rodgers thing. He he's seen. I mean, and it's only going to get worse because I'm not sure if the special played yesterday or if it's playing in the future, where he sits down and he makes a statement. Well, you've drafted my replacement. Go ahead and play him. So that tells you the attitude. That's why he said he wanted to get out of there. So that shows you the attitude he has, and that can't be great for a team when the quarterback doesn't want to be there, regardless of how he feels about the team. His teammates, he's at odds with the management. So that can't be good for the locker room or anything. Number two, the Alabama guys did ball out. It was interesting. CJ Watson said that he was watching and it was kind of neat to see Jalen and Devontae connect on Devontae's first target. That was a beautiful pass by Jalen there. Great catch, great route to Waddle. And I had actually told someone, man, we may see all three quarterbacks throw a touchdown pass to all Alabama players. Of course, he didn't throw it. Mac didn't throw that touchdown to Damian, but it was still neat to see that Alabama. It's kind of crazy to think we've not had quarterbacks be the lead dog in an NFL uniform for a long time, and then we have 3 on one Sunday. And like it, love it, hate it. I don't know how good the Falcons are, but it seems like coaching is catching up with Jalen's talent, and maybe he can not just be serviceable, but maybe be able to play quarterback pretty good, especially being that they voted him team captain.
I will hurt Philadelphia in the long run is their running back play not too impressive. The quarterback cannot be your leading running back. That's not going to work in the NFL.
Right.
You're going to have to prove there. Otherwise, you're not going to win any Super Bowls or anything else. Quarterback's lead running back. That can't happen.
Well, maybe him passing the ball will get them out of the box a little bit. I mean, maybe. So.
Going back to the Alabama game, of course. That's why Nick says to go. He can read his team before the game's even played, and he knows from practice what's on his team's mind. Somebody say he's the best sports psychologist in football. I can't forget who said that. But he can read them before the game's even played. It was no question that this was their checkout game, lackadaisical game, la-la game. And the thing that really kind of bugged me the most is I wasn't all that impressed with the backup quarterback. I was hoping to see more out of them when Bryce went out and they were in. Especially Paul Tyson. It's like, okay, yeah, you definitely look like somebody who's hadn't been in any games yet. So it's hopefully that will get better as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree with the Paul Tyson thing. He threw some short armed balls, but I guarantee you they'll go back and look at that, and they know he can throw the ball. On a how far he can throw the ball. I guarantee they go back and look at it and go, okay, he didn't complete the pass, but was that the correct read? Should that, because he tried to make one of those sidearm throws like Bryce Young is becoming famous for, and it bounced before it got out there on one of those RPOs. So, but I think he made all the correct reads. He threw to the right guy. He just short armed it a couple times. So that would be probably what they're looking at. And only thing with Jalen is he has to throw the ball. I'm not trying to be funny with this. I said he may need to change his number from number 2 because a couple times he ran out there and I'm like, just throw it. Just throw it. Just throw it. And he never did. And of course, that's the way Jalen played the game a little bit. And I think Jalen was coached that way later in that season. But either way, a chance for them to get there. You got anything else for me?
No, that was of course, what happened with the rest of the college football. If a place is bet on Texas, that's when they lay an egg. That's what Arkansas beat. blow them out the water like they weren't even there. And Stanford and USC, Stanford is USC's kryptonite. I mean, they just anytime USC starts to look decent, Stanford just brings them back down. No matter what, they will bring USC back down again. And Oregon and Ohio State, Oregon just came out there and balled.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of the season, everybody was saying you could always pick them. We already know who the 4 teams going to be before the season start. But 2 of those 4 teams need some teams to lose right now.
Yes.
That playoff. So you ain't don't know the 4 teams right when the season starts. 2 of those 4, they're in a lot of trouble.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at Ohio State. Got taken, pretty deep into the game with Minnesota, then lost to Oregon at home. Clemson lost to Georgia. And of course, Notre Dame escaped an overtime game and a last-second win against Florida State and Toledo, respectively. So that's several of your top teams already. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the college football playoffs. We're already talking about it, but it's going to be interesting to see does the Pac-12 is the Pac-12 slowly making a case for itself to be back in the conversation, or is it just going to be Oregon at the end of the day? But that Oregon team wasn't a bad-looking team as they took on Ohio State. Arkansas. Was it Texas bad or Arkansas good? That was the question I was trying to figure out. Arkansas slowly they're still not going to be in the top 2 or 3 in the SEC, but are they a team that you better make sure you bring your A game to? So they definitely laid the hammer in the wood to Texas, and of course the jokes couldn't come out fast enough. Welcome to the SEC for Texas. I think it showed Texas how far they have to come if they're going to compete in the SEC, and they got time. And I guarantee you, even though we see it as a loss, Sarkisian will use this game to help recruit guys to stay in Texas. Hey, guys, we're going to be in the SEC, but you see how far we have to go, and you're the type of player we need. And that'll be stroking that ego. So don't count Texas out too quick in the future. But they're a long way away from being ready to be elite in the SEC. All right, thank you, sir. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue the conversation. I want to talk about this, why Mercer. Joe and I talked a lot last week about these types of games, and I had Coach Marchant, who's one of the coaches over at Northridge with me, address this. C.J. Watson said, I would have liked to seeing a more focused team Saturday. Alabama's overall experience showed Saturday with poor execution against a much lesser opponent. I hope the focus they had for Miami shows back up this week. Coach Marchant and I talked about this. I'll tell you what his observation is, and I think he's point on. Nick Saban may have even said something about it as well. We're talking about that and more. You can get your good, bad, and ugly players of the game, etc., into the conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show. And we're able to do it each and every day thanks to the great folks over at Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. Give us a call on the Taco Casa hotline at 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we kick off our Monday morning drive. Drive carefully if you do see conditions. 45886-8886. The time to save thousands at Townsend Nissan, your hometown dealer. They've got a tremendous selection with low finance rates and extra rebates. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99 going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522. Don't wait. Call now. 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Well, these are all choices and decisions that players make. They make a decision to throw their helmet. Right? They make a decision to grab and throw another guy on the ground, whether it's controlling your emotions, right? Because when you're emotional, you make bad decisions. All right, so you got to play with intensity, but not out of control. And we got to make better choices and decisions. Just, your question would be like somebody asking me, how are you going to get this guy to quit swinging at balls over his head in baseball? It's a bad decision. It's a bad choice. You can tell them, you can show them, you can tell them, you can show them, and eventually you place somebody else in their place because they're not dependable. It's accountability. I have a job to do. I told the story today. Maybe we need more of this. When I was growing up, I worked for my dad. All right, so every day at dinner, he would do that to the table. And there was a reckoning for everything that you were supposed to do that day. So if you're supposed to cut the grass, did you sweep the walk? Did you trim? Did you put the mower away? Did you clean the mower? And if you didn't do any of those things right, you're going to do it again. We might need a little of that somewhere along the line.
All right. That's Coach Nick Saban. So he taps the podium lightly, Joe, but every once in a while he slaps it. So we know where he gets the slapping of the podium from. We need a little more dad in our team, Joe, if we're going to be what we need to be. Several people have mentioned the focus. Curtis Lewis said the good on his good, bad, and ugly. Jacksonville State over Florida State, bad. Will Anderson injury, ugly. Our team focus. But Joe, as I was taking notes on that, I was writing down what Nick Saban said. 3 words popped up: dependable, accountable, and discipline. You know that spells dad. So Alabama needs a little bit more dad in their life. So I'm sure we'll have fun with that as we move throughout the week. But the Coach Marchant from Northridge, he made such a good point. He and I were talking about the game, and you and I talked last week about why Saban has these games on the schedule, and I talked about development and you said, hey, it's good for the younger players, not really good for much else. And he pointed out something that I had not dug this deep into specifically on a development angle. Alabama in these types of games, Joe, they're not going to lose them, right? I mean, they're better than Mercer. We're not worried about that. But go ahead. Did you start to say something?
Oh, you're on a roll.
Yeah. What I was going to say, we're not going to lose to Mercer. So, because we can out talent them, right? But games like this, especially these types of games that don't run necessarily the same system as what you're going to see week in and week out, requires you to play with discipline. Meaning you have to really learn how to play your position. And when you play against a team like this, it's a chance that Alabama can take, hey, we're not going to lose a game, but let's talk and teach our team the importance of playing with eye discipline and gap discipline and, responsibility and being accountable to their teammate, because sometimes you can become dependent on your talent, and because you see it every day, you're able to get back to where you need to be. But Mercer, a couple times, what did they do? We lost discipline and they gouged us. They hit us for big plays, and it was because of that lack of discipline. And he believes that that's part of the reason Saban does these games, so that he now has film to go back and teach. This is your job, not your talent, not to make a play. You have to do your job and your responsibility. Dependable, accountable, and discipline. A little more dad needed if Alabama's going to be what they need to be. And we saw last week in the Florida game that what's his name runs some, unorthodox routes and different things like that to get guys open in the game. Talking about Mullins, so maybe this is why he scheduled an unorthodox Mercer offense that tests our defense, as well as did you see the little thing that they did? First team I've ever seen do this. Did you see how they moved their offensive line?
Yeah, Mercer was always moving their offensive line, making it tough to making it tough to get a rush on, and making it tough to get after people.
Yeah, not only I've seen teams take a tackle and he stands up and he moves to the other side, and you end up with a tackle over and things like that. But Mercer would slide their entire offensive line. The right guard would shift back and become the left guard, and then all of a sudden you had a 3-man line on the left side versus the right side, and you had to adjust to all of that on the fly while the play is still going, and it was different. They ran some option principles from a spread look, so it required a lot of discipline. And Alabama now has, despite the fact that we won that game 48-14, Joe, we probably have as many coaching points or more coaching points that will make Alabama better this week than we had against Miami last week. So, thoughts, anything before we get to break?
I think that I think it's always good. I mean, I think it's good to play against the scheme that you don't always see. So to have it does help you get disciplined. I personally think that the scheme doesn't quite matter as much when when you have such a talent deficiency on the field. So you kind of lose some of that some of that good discipline talk when you're playing against a lesser opponent.
No, that's actually what makes it. I disagree with you there, Joe. It actually, because of the fact, like if you get beat against Florida because of lack of discipline, a player will say, well, that guy's just talented. When you get beat bad and that guy is obviously less talented than you and you get beat, it makes the point of listen, you're superior to that guy. Why is he running wide open? And you just sit back and wait on that player to answer that question. The reason he's running wide open is you were undisciplined. If you're playing against JoJo Earl or Mechie, he makes a move on you. You may resolve, well, he just made a good move. He's a NFL guy. So actually, the fact that a lesser team is able to create those types of wide open plays and those types of pass rushes against us, it shows that their scheme is what you need to understand is if you don't play discipline, then you're going to get beat. Because if they can beat you with lesser talent, what's going to happen when the other team has the same talent as you and has a different type of scheme? Your discipline becomes even more important. So I think when you have a team that's lesser creating mixed matches because you're undisciplined, it actually emphasizes the point even more. So, and that's what happened Saturday in several of our pass rushes and the offensive. When their defensive line was moving, our guys weren't disciplined in making their changes and they're making sure that they were on the right guys. And same thing with the defensive side of the ball. Coming back on the other side, we'll put the finishing touches on this Monday edition of the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. No wrecks of delays this Monday morning. Just some minor congestion on Worley to Northport and McFarland 15th Street. If you see other conditions, give us a call. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with rebates up to $5,000 and finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. Go see them. You'll save thousands. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb Series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Dell's semi-annual sale is a perfect time to power up productivity and gaming victories. Now you can save what Dell employees save on high-performance tech. Save 17% on the latest XPS and Alienware computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, check out exclusive savings on Dell monitors, headsets, and accessories for greater immersion in all you do. Upgrade today by calling 800-BY-DELL. Again, that's 800-BY-DELL, or you can visit dell.com/.
Lord, I'm sorry. What this caller was talking my ear off, so I didn't hear
What do you think? I mean, it's kind of a loaded question, isn't it? I mean, if it stinks, it stinks. Smells bad for everybody. Smell bad for you? Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to do? Make excuses for them? We did a poor job of blocking. They did some movements up front. We didn't sustain blocks. All right, so we didn't have much success running the ball. We stopped ourselves 4 times in the first half with a drop pass on 3rd down, a drop pass that had been a big play pass, and 2 penalties. 1 penalty brought back a touchdown. 1 penalty stopped the drive. So, I mean, I don't know how many possessions we had in the first half, but there's 4 right there where we stopped ourselves. So,
Yeah. That's Coach Nick Saban talking about offensive productivity. 4 drives in the first half where we stopped the drives with drop passes and or penalties. So the good is that we won. The good is that we had young players playing. The good is that Alabama, even though it was ugly early, Alabama recuperated. Defense played well enough other than late to win. So that's all good there. JoJo Early getting some punt returns, showing that explosiveness was good. A couple of the younger DBs, Kool-Aid McKinstry, to me, played well. He did bust the coverage there. There was a coverage busted behind him, and it looked like it was him, but I think there was supposed to be a safety over the top with the way he played that, and Saban seemed to reference that as well. The bad, lack of focus in ugly penalties, and then, of course, not knowing the severity, Joe, of Jalen Armour Davis and Job, going in and not knowing coming out, and then also adding another outside linebacker to that list is a concern on the ugly. Let's get to Pat. Pat, you're with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Coach has a tremendous amount to coach up this week, what I can see. And I have not touched any about my son whenever he saw Anderson's Will's injury. He said, "You're kidding me!" Real loud, like I don't know what happened. He said it appeared to him that guy was trying to take that good young man's knee out.
Well, when I played, we used to cut block like that all the time, and now they've taken that out of the game. So I don't think the kid was necessarily intentional. Be trying to hurt his knee, Pat. I think the kid was probably intimidated that he had to hit him, and he was taking the path of least resistance.
I say all that, Mark, to say, do we have any business playing these kind of teams?
Yes. Yes, we have business playing these types of teams. Who would you put in that place?
Hey, I'm talking about bigger Power 5 teams. If you get hurt against a Power 5 team, that's one thing. But if you get knocked out against somebody like that,
what would be the difference? Okay.
Again, let's look at the other teams that play these kind of teams. Look what happened to Florida State.
Well, that's Florida State. That probably showed Florida State more where they were at than their almost win against Notre Dame. Because everybody was assuming Florida State was back because they played close to Notre Dame. Or did that show them that they're still a long way off? Is that coach's job harder or easier when it comes to telling his players it takes more to win now? What was the one game, in my opinion, that absolutely changed Alabama football under Nick Saban? La Monroe. He was trying to get those players to buy into his process, and they were like, it doesn't take all of that. They were rebelling. We played La Monroe. La Monroe beat us. And then from that point on, Nick Saban said, okay, you can do it my way or you can get out of here. Before that, he was trying to convince them that his way would work. And I mean, so I still think that those games like this have purpose. It doesn't matter if Will Anderson could care less if he got hurt against Mercer or against South Florida if he's injured. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter to him if it's UCF or Mercer or Chattanooga, Tennessee or Vanderbilt or whoever. If he's injured, he's injured. And that play could have been the same regardless of who our opponent was. I like I said, I'm a guy that I don't have a problem with these types of games because I think overall you get more out of them than you lose in developing your program and building your team. And we say that, but the question becomes, Pat, what happens if we build up and all of a sudden we have 2 or 3 games and our next game, if this was a bigger game, and then we turn around and play Florida and we got more people injured? Because you tend to get more guys injured in the bigger games than you do the smaller games.
Okay. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, listen. You can have your opinion on these types of games. Different people have different opinions. Joe and I differ on these types of games, so it's not that you're wrong. You just have a different opinion. I'm okay with it. We didn't get to that narrative about the dual threat quarterback being the way to beat Alabama, but I'm sure we're going to hear it all day today and throughout. We didn't get the players of the game. We can hit those on tomorrow as well. If you want to call in and be a part of that, we're going to have our score prediction contest running throughout the week. So make sure you make plans to join us for the remainder of the week. That's Joe Gaither behind the glass. Thanks to Pat and Robert and Curtis and all of our callers, listeners, chatters, and viewers on Facebook, CJ, Virgil, Curtis Moore, and others, for being a part of the Martin Houston Show. We do it every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 on the Tide 100.9 app.